Everybody chill out. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the DLLS Cowboys Podcast. It's weird to have to talk about the Mavericks just a little bit on a Cowboys podcast, but could this happen here, and how? What is the new blueprint for a Super Bowl, and should the Cowboys follow it? All of that is on today's show, which starts meow. That jersey looks wrong.
Nico.
Wait, isn't it fire Nico?
You're going to get kicked out.
You're going to get kicked out.
You're going to get kicked out.
Ben escort him out.
Fire Jerry.
You're going to get kicked out.
Fire Jerry.
You're going to get kicked out.
Fire Jerry.
Whoa.
Never said that.
Whoa.
The water carrier himself.
The most objective.
The water carrier himself.
That is
The most trusted. The most objective.
Don't do that.
The water carrier himself.
That's such a lie. Yeah, you saw that dead.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
You started it. You're the main one.
What?
Always ripping Jerry.
No,
Why don't you have that sign? You should be selling hats.
Calm, constructive criticism to encourage him to be better.
Calm?
That's what I do.
I don't know about calm.
You should be selling hats.
Constructive
Well,
criticism
plot twist, you are the guy selling the hats.
to encourage growth.
Is that your burner?
Is that your burner?
I wish. I need money.
Is this for the pool fund?
I need money bad.
Is this the pool fund?
I've been a little reckless the last couple months.
You don't say.
Yeah, so we'll start the show. Hi, my name is Jeff. Next to me is a former Cowboys wide receiver, but also sometimes a Mavs analyst when we go out of town, Jesse Holly.
Oh, Jesse Holly went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
Shout out to the homie I saw in the parking lot at church on Sunday. I meant to shout you out yesterday. I didn't get your name, but you know who we parked next to each other when we were getting out of the car for church on Sunday. He loves the show, the DLLS. I don't know if you're a diehard or not. I should have asked you. You should have shown me your carrying car. Yeah. But you know who
They
you
don't
are.
have a carrying card.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
We got
we don't.
We don't.
Oh, we don't.
They
Oh,
do.
that's some bullcorn.
Yeah, they do. You
Some
know what I'm talking about?
bullcorn, Jim.
The black
Ben.
brother, the black brother with the locks. You know what I'm talking about. We seen each other at the parking lot for church on Sunday.
Okay, well, then
Praise the
I
Lord.
want to be a Tommy Topper here and shout out the white guy
There you go.
in Hawaii.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Whoa.
When I landed in Hawaii at the airport in Kona, I was walking by the baggage claim, and a guy was like, Jeff, It's like, love the show.
Kona had the outside, like
in
the
Hawaii.
outside.
Yeah. It was wild.
Yeah,
Next to
that's
Jesse is Mr. Tote the Water.
Tote the
That's
water.
Clarence Hill.
bullcorn. Jeremy, we fighting, we throwing hands when I see you. It's on site. It's on site, Jeremy. It's on site.
That's right.
I
Tote
want to
that
shout
thing.
out to the guy from London who gave us a shout out on Twitter, said he loves the show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Dang.
Twitter.
Yeah,
See, we saw people in
I
person.
go church.
Twitter.
You go Hawaii.
Oh, I have people in person, but this is the most recent guy. Shouted the whole show out on Twitter.
Okay.
From London. We got people from London.
Let's
man.
see who Joe's got. Next to Clarence is the greatest beat writer in the history of the Cowboys. By far, Joe Hoyt.
Tell him something.
Who doesn't carry the
I
water
want to
for
shout
Joe.
out someone from international lands too, from the Philippines. My dad, who
Oh,
watches
oh.
as well. Shout out, Dad.
Okay, yeah,
Not the
spy.
dads.
No
International,
spy.
international spy.
Noted secret
Yeah, he's also
agent.
going to do PR for the Mavs moving forward.
Oh,
Super
Yeah.
spy.
oh. Get Nico right, baby.
If you know, you know.
Make
Yeah,
him,
so that's like
make him
that's,
disappear.
that's the biggest story.
Wow.
I'm playing.
Wow.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Are you insinuating my dad's?
The man
Make
already
people
got a
disappear?
security team now.
Yeah, your dad does
Because-
make people disappear.
Because of you,
Yeah.
now you got to make the man disappear.
My fault. That's right. My bad.
Nico, come get him.
The Mavericks stuff is so wild that it's got Tim McMahon attacking random Mavs writers.
Whoa. Call Grant a reporter.
You can't call him a random.
Call Grant a reporter.
I didn't mean random like in a negative way. I was trying to take a shot at Tim, not Grant. It was I'm sorry. That was an attempted shot at Tim that somehow failed. And Tim McMahon is a friend, but that was just a whole weird deal. Boy, they're in a bad place.
Yeah.
And it's hard to, like, even talking about the Cowboys as we're getting ready for the show, it, like, filtered through what is going on with the Mavs. So it's like, okay, well, I guess we have to at least acknowledge it and, like, compare it. And I don't know how to compare it because I can't find an equivalent for the Cowboys to what the Mavericks have done, which is like a universally hated trade. And now your organization's so sensitive about it, the head coach won't even take the podium. If people try to express themselves in your arena, you're throwing them out. It is insanity in Maverick land. And I just thought, like, could that happen with the Cowboys? I can't figure out a comparison.
I was going through my mind last night and driving over here, and just it was so surreal watching what was happening in LA and what was happening in Dallas. With fans getting thrown out, just thinking about the Cowboys. And as we've said since the offseason, the Cowboys fans have been disillusioned. They've been disappointed as I've ever seen in 30 years.
And it's 5% of what the Mavs have done right now.
But the anger, and there are some people with anger, there's some people with passion, certainly. We've seen the fire Jerry signs and stuff like that. But it's not boiled over like the Mavs fan base. Maybe it's more of a niche fan base because of the smaller fan base. But the hatred, the anger, the passion, it's just on another level. And maybe it's certainly Luka, and you're getting rid of God Luka, and their basketball God has a lot to do with it.
You just deified?
Well,
Luka?
from a basketball standpoint, he's, remember?
The DT.
I mean, from a basketball standpoint, Jesus Shuttlesworth, the white Jesus Shuttlesworth, okay? Come on. Learn about Jesus Shuttlesworth.
Yeah,
Shout out.
We all know.
That was a movie.
Not the reality.
We all know about
But there's some passion that has come out that Mavs fans not only taken to the streets, not only taken to the Twitter, they've taken to the arena. I don't know if Cowboy fans have taken that to AT&T Stadium.
I think there's also two different types of things we're dealing with here. I think with the Cowboys, it's been a long building depression at this point. I think it's like you've seen it, you know it. It's 30 years. It's like, okay, hey, we're going to go all in, maybe, but I kind of know. No, it's not going to happen. With the Mavs, Nico Harrison was looked at as like, hey, he brought Kyrie here. Ooh, we're going to pair Kyrie with Luka. Like, oh, okay, they're making some savvy moves. He's young and fresh. This is going to be awesome. Oh, in the middle of the night, I'm going to pull the rug and show you who I actually am. This is like Art Modell moving in the middle of the Browns in the middle of the night to the Ravens. It's similar. I was thinking from an NFL standpoint, the only thing that could be so heartbreaking currently is if the Bengals in the middle of the night traded Joe Burrow to the Rams for Matthew Stafford and Kyron Williams. That is the only equivalent, because I think it's just heartbreak, an absolute heartbreak, and now they're not even being allowed to feel it.
It's funny. It
better be funny.
And it's an ageism thing, because you think of the Browns going to Baltimore, and I think of the Colts going from Baltimore to Indianapolis with the Mayflower, because they had Mayflower trucks. Mayflower famous when the Colts went from Baltimore.
Or maybe that's what I'm thinking of. The one in the middle of the night with the car. That's the one I'm thinking of. Forgive me.
You're mixing metaphors.
That's
but that's okay. It was a Colts.
That's all right. You always hold me accountable, and I appreciate it.
No, but Browns Ravens was the same thing, wasn't it?
It wasn't in the middle of the night. It wasn't in the middle of the night, though.
I was going for the middle of the night feeling.
No, because they had to build a style. I mean, it wasn't in the middle of the night. The Colts thing was in the middle of the night.
But the heartbreak is, I think fans feel like their team has been taken from them.
I don't like all the stuff that you said
about depression,
because it made a lot of sense. It's like, okay, like the Cowboys stuff, it has been a long time, and you're just kind of used to it. Right. And it's just like, I am comfortable in my depression. It is my comfort zone. But it doesn't mean I want to be there. Yeah. I don't like it, but it is my comfort zone. The Maverick one was a gigantic traumatic event.
Right.
Just smashed into your forehead.
Right.
That's true. And that's tough.
Because that's something we've been chronicling again since the Green Bay game. The disappointment, this disillusionment, the shock, but not the anger, because it's a buildup of 30 years or 29 years or whatever it was. But that's how we did apathy. Going to training camp, less fans there. It's more about apathy, more about disillusionment than anger, and because of the traumatic event.
I also think it's hard to find, like, Joe had to go somewhere else in the NFL to you can't find it with the Cowboys. Mm-hmm. Even though somebody said like Luka was so universally loved by Maverick fans, and I think that's mostly true. Like Luka caught crap, at least from some people. Like I talked about him being a crybaby and how he'd get a little thick on you. Like, but I guess 95% of the Mavs fan was like, "Shut up, he's amazing." So maybe he was universally loved.
Yeah, you couldn't complain about his defense. You had to love Luka.
Yeah, you're just not allowed.
His weight.
And he was kind of thick, 2 C's. But that worked for him.
Thick works for a lot of people.
I forgot where I was going. It happens sometimes. I forgot where I was going. But you can't. There is no. And it's also that it was a different, like, new decision maker came into the team. New owner who Mark Cuban's blocked me twice on social media. He does not have me blocked currently. He's blocked me twice through the years on social media.
Blocked you back?
But he was a very Jerry figure, right? Where he was very beloved and outgoing and accessible. And I think it all combines for it. Where it's like, wait, the brand new Nike guy with the casino owners saying okay traded Mark Cuban and I's hero. And it's just all like, who are we and what is this? It would be if it wasn't Jerry that traded away the Cowboys' best player for a bad return.
Yeah.
People would lose their minds because we got used to Cuban. And it's like, look,
but Cuban wasn't hated. Cuban was a guy that everybody liked. Fans, he hung, he was a young, hip
Jerry's
guy.
not hated.
Oh, he's hated by the fan
He might
base.
be now.
Yeah, but
for most of his career, he's not. People think he's cute.
He started, we're getting rid of firing Tom Landry. He got over being hated because they won. Then he fired Jim. There are people that hate Jerry, that still hate Jerry, that left the Cowboys for Tom Landry. And other people left the Cowboys because of Jimmy Johnson, how he ran the team. So there's been some of that throughout his career. Mark Cuban was everybody's boy. He was everybody's fan. I mean, he just young rich guy and buying video games. He's one you want to pal around with. It's not the same level of hate that Jerry got.
Chill, let me ask you something. And if this were to happen today,
that'll be a question.
It will be a question. If this were to happen today on Twitter, what would the reaction to the Cowboys moving on from Jimmy Johnson be today?
Oh my God, that's one thing that the Radio Row were talking about. Then everybody talking about the Luka deal, and I don't know who brought it. Was it Daryl Johnston or Woody talking about the Jimmy Johnson trade?
Yeah,
I mean the Jimmy Johnson firing. If that happens on social media today,
oh yeah,
that's explosive, and that's something to get people fired up about for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell Michael Irvin, you wouldn't have made the Hall of Fame if Twitter was around in the 80s and 90s.
Well, he wouldn't have played in the NFL.
you don't
understand. He spend it all time.
Because it's a whole different beast. We had to, certainly talk radio and everything else, but social media has changed the game.
Yeah. The 90s Cowboys would have had a big problem. They'd had a big problem. Poor Troy would have had to sit up there at the podium and take the bullets.
But even in all of this, when you talk about the Mavs or the Cowboys and whether or not fans are upset, who they hate, who they don't hate, trades, not trades, they still show up. And that has been my ultimate thing about how mad are you? Like, how mad are you?
Well, the Mavs are about to find out.
Like, they showed up.
That arena won't be full for the next month.
And it wasn't that full last night.
It won't be full for the next month.
Well,
now that they made the trade and AD's hurt,
and Gafford, and
there'll be empty seats.
You got an All-Star break coming up, so they'll give some time to come back from that.
Yeah.
But,
I'll tell you, ticket prices on Game Time, shout out, are very low for right now for the Mavs.
$8.
They're really low, but you know which one's by far the most expensive? When Luke and the Lakers come to town, $327 getting price right now. That'll tell you what they think about it.
I mean, I think a lot of Mavs fans, if you were to meet the Lakers in the playoffs, would be cheering for the Lakers right now.
No,
I think there's a few
so.
this year.
Yes,
this year I think in particular. Yes,
I think so.
Cheering for the Lakers? No, they'll be cheering for Luka.
They'll
be cheering for Luka. They won't be cheering for.
They may have Mavs jerseys on and then cross out the Mavs in the front and put Lakers on them, but it'll be because of Luka.
The thing about basketball, NBA fans, they cheer for players more than they cheer for teams.
Yeah, but I think this is the most apathetic and angry I've seen the Cowboys fan base probably in my lifetime of covering and talking about the team. But that Mavericks stuff is times 50 right now.
100%.
If they played the Lakers tomorrow, your team, they would be cheering.
But they wouldn't be booing the home team.
No, they wouldn't be booing the home
cheering
team.
for Luka. They wouldn't be booing the home
No, they
team.
did a good job of making sure they've been cheering for Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
But now that he's hurt, now they're going to lose their mind. And good luck. You trying to run the Guantanamo Bay in the AAC.
And they should have won last
take
night.
away people's rights to
They should have
express
won last
themselves. Coming up next, we got about a whole coaching staff for the Cowboys. How are we feeling? And we do have some optimism. We're not the Mavericks. We're the Cowboys. We're way better than the Mavericks. And that's all next.
My friends over at IceShaker.com. Here's the promo code. ALLCITY25. Get you 25% off. It's a great gift idea. Officially licensed in all major sports. And if you aren't a sports fan, which many of you probably here are, but if you aren't, if you have a loved one in your life, go to the custom part of IceShaker.com and you can download your own figure, your own picture, if it's sorority or fraternity or whatever it may be, your work, whatever it is. You can get you one of these good, durable. It keeps your drink cold or hot up to 30 hours. It's made by the Grant Brothers. Over 1 million of these bad boys sold. If you're into working out, this one right here, I specifically like. It has the agitator in this thing right here. So you put your protein in there, you close this thing, and then you shake it all about, and you have a cold drink all day long. Icebreaker.com, ALLCITY25 is the promo code. Don't do that. Get 25% off. It's a great gift idea. Get someone.
Shout out to our friends at Sleeper as well, where you need the promo code DLLS Boys. I spend a lot of time on Sleeper. Now, you can't pick if Anthony Davis will have more or less stats because he's hurt. But you could pick noted Laker player Luka Doncic if you think that he will have more or less than his projected stats in any given game. Sleeper's awesome. It's a lot of fun, and it makes things that I normally wouldn't be interested in very interesting to me. That's the best part.
What hockey goal are we going with tonight?
Oh, where's that Bobrovsky guy?
Bobrovsky!
More saves than projected.
Yes, Bobrovsky!
Yes, we love it. I only remember his name because I picked him once, and I have no idea who that is or who he plays for.
He's a goalie.
But it's fun. It's fun to just kind of wing it around. I want you to try your best and make your best picks, but sometimes I do just wing it around to make things more interesting. And the more picks that you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. New users, download the Sleeper app. Use the code DLLS Boys. You get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Operation over 25 states, including this one. All right, we got a coaching staff pretty much. We got a coaching staff pretty much. I saw we're going to add a guy that's been fired a couple of times, and Josh Allen got good because he got fired, but that guy's going to come coach our team, so that's awesome. I'm really excited about this Ken Dorsey thing.
Before we get to ours, Kellen Moore, tell the fans that Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore's going to be the head coach of the Saints.
New Orleans.
Are you guys upset
for 2 years
that
before
the Cowboys could have had Kellen Moore as head coach, but decided to go with Brian Schottenheimer? They could have had a Super Bowl champion
we had those
offense coordinator.
No, thank you.
Revisionist history.
Is that revisionist history?
We had that
Revisionist
already.
history.
We had it already.
You could have had Kellen Moore.
We had those buns
It's
already.
Captain
I'm just
Forsyth.
asking. It's a question.
Buns were trash. We're
All right.
good.
Can I tell you a secret, Clarence? I don't think either one of them is going to be a good head coach.
Exactly.
So-
But who could you sell more? Could you sell Kellen Moore coming off a Super Bowl
Yes.
No, we
Yes.
already
over
saw
Brian
him.
Schottenheimer?
You could sell him more.
Yes, you can sell
You could
Kellen
sell him
Moore.
more. You could
Come
sell him
on.
more.
Yes, Jesse,
You could
we're
say- you
selling
could.
an
You could.
older person who's also never been a head coach that doesn't even have a good history calling plays and never won anything.
He's a more seasoned Kellen Moore.
He's just an older guy.
Successful.
More seasoned.
There is an
Successful.
unknown.
Seasoned.
There is an
More
unknown.
seasoned.
Kellen Moore got a Super Bowl title.
More seasoned. I'm giving the Jerry pitch right now. More
Successful
seasoned.
Kellen Moore. I'm just asking.
I'm cheering.
I
for
like the staff he's got, though.
I'm cheering for Shoddy. If you want a preference between Shoddy and Kellen, don't care. Like, I don't know. I don't think either one is an impressive head coach.
Ugg
candidate.
cares.
Yeah,
No,
but
I mean, that's a question to ask. I mean, because that's who it could have been. I mean, they basically chose Shoddy and said, we're not waiting for Kellen Moore. We've seen Kellen Moore. We had Kellen Moore. They want continuity. They could have got continuity with
that's
Kellen
the
Moore.
same as hiring you.
Whoa.
Like we've seen Kellen Moore. No one's seen Clarence coach.
There you go.
And Clarence been covering this game a long time.
I can coach them up.
You know, like,
coach him
okay, cool.
I'll coach him up. But the exciting part, again, Shoddy is a ho-hum hire, okay? Let's be honest about that. But the thing that you can be excited about is the staff he's put around. And I know that was kind of a backhanded shot at Ken Dorsey. But at least Ken Dorsey has driven the car before. He's not in charge of the offense. Shoddy's going to call plays. What'd you say?
He crashed it.
He crashed it. But he's been in the room. But at least Shoddy's.
Well, it landed. I mean, nobody died. The plane landed.
Somebody hired him twice to be offense coordinator. Somebody hired him twice to run their offense.
They fired him twice, too, in the last 3 years.
Back-to-back years.
But he had to grow and develop with that guy. But he's the
He put it on the ground. They were just missing a wheel.
He's the passing game coordinator. You have him. Certainly Steve
Shimko.
Yeah, you're crushing it.
Shimko,
Yep.
who was on the staff as the analyst last year or an assistant. He's been promoted to quarterback's coach. Shimka was a former offense coordinator at Boston College. Another guy who's driven the car before he's calling plays. Clayton Adams, offensive coordinator. Is the offensive coordinator, but of course he ran the offensive line in Arizona. Junior Adams, the wide receiver coach, developer, young guy. He's also been offensive coordinator. He's also called plays. So you got all those different guys who run their own shop, run their own offense, who are part of this gumbo that Brian Schottenheimer has put together. They're exciting young coaches, all about teaching, and they're out of the box hires. They're not like retreading old guys who went from this team to this team to this team. A lot of these guys have college backgrounds. Derek Foster, who immediately came from the Saints and was with the Chargers for 3 years before that, but his background as a college coach at Iowa. That's who he is. So you got a lot of young guys, out of the box hires, new ideas, energetic guys with his coaching staff.
I think the most exciting thing about the Schottenheimer coaching staff so far is that it actually signals that there's a hope of potential alignment between what Stephen and Jerry Jones want and what Brian Schottenheimer wants. Because after Brian Schottenheimer's hiring, Stephen and Jerry both said, we got to get back to running the ball. We got to make an emphasis there. We got to do, that's what we want to pair with Brian Schottenheimer. So what happened? If they would have hired a bunch of hey, this is a wide receiver coach background, passing game coordinator, I think it would have been concerning. Instead, they hired an offensive line coach to be their OC. They hired a college offensive line coach known for developing guys to be their offensive line coach.
Who also was a play caller and offensive coordinator.
Exactly. So they're hiring, I think that they're hiring, there's two things they targeted offensively, where they're targeting guys that have play calling feel, and also guys who know how to develop, and there's an emphasis on running the ball, and I think that's got to be exciting for a team that did not put any emphasis on running the ball last season.
I like that I don't know all of these new guys. I like that I don't know their last names, so that the answer to how'd he get here? Well, boy, his daddy was on the competition committee, and he was good. And most.
But you're not getting that answer.
Right. No, I'm happy to not be getting that answer.
Yeah.
No Belichick's or Haslets or,
Jerry's literal answer to why him was, his dad was good to me and nice. Most of the guys that they've hired, and I don't want to be too hard on Ken Dorsey, but yes, the last 2 jobs he's had, he's been fired very quickly. And one of them, the Bills immediately got good again. So I don't think that he's going to be and I don't know what his job is exactly when you're an analyst and a scheme generalist.
Pass game specialist.
But I want them to hire me. I watch a lot of football, and I'll send you a play from each game. Hey, run that one. That one was fun. That was a good play. I could do that. I think that would be very helpful if they were willing to run it.
So
go ahead.
When you have Clarence, you laid it out so eloquently about all of these names and all of these coaches and all their backgrounds. Right. Is Shotty going to be a coach that receives this information? Is he going to take all the input in, all the insight in? Is he going to use that to kind of formulate what he does week in and week out? Is he going to give them legs to stand on in those particular meetings? Because we can hear and talk about, and you've been around this game for a while. I've been around this game for a little while. And a lot of times coaches come in there and they have all these brilliant and bright minds in the building. But when it comes down to having to make a decision, having to put a game plan together, having to put all these things in place, they go for what they know. Right. They stick to what they know. And for about to call him Marty, for Brian Schottenheimer, him being a first-time head coach, is he the kind of person that's going to say, you know what, this is my shot. I may not ever get this shot again, so I'm going to go for what I know. This is going to be my run. Yes, I'm bringing in these other younger minds, which I'm not all mad at that. I'm not all mad you're getting some youth in the coaching staff. I think that will help in the relatability between players and coaches, right? You speak their language, you're familiar with just the cultural things that a lot of them are interested in, and there's a little bit more relatability that happens. But just because they have the knowledge or have done it before, is Schottenheimer going to welcome them in his first time being a head coach?
Well, I think that there's an old adage. You could have too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yes.
Okay. So I
was thinking too many Indians, not enough Chiefs.
Yeah, all of them. Well,
I don't think you can say that. I don't think you can say that anymore.
Too many. Let's just stick with too many cooks in the kitchen.
Tell me it's raining.
He in mine. I own mine.
But I think that
can't say that.
I think that you have these guys who've led things. So they number one, their job was to run their position groups.
Yeah.
And so being a leader and being able to run the all offense, that helps you better run your position groups. But certainly he's going to focus on offensive coordinator. He's going to focus on the passing game specialist, to give him the most input. And certainly he's going to take everybody's input in. But as the head coach, as my shop, I'm going to go down, running my own ship to a certain extent. But yes, you have to be open to these new ideas. And
I
Shotty,
thought you used up our one S word for a second.
Yeah, you almost said shit.
I thought you was going to use it. Yeah, you got it right. I just thought the way you were going with that.
ship.
I was like, I know we get one a show. I thought you almost used it up.
You were towing the line.
But the beautiful thing about Shotty is, even though he's a son of a head
better be a
coach
beautiful
and been a young guy, he's not doesn't have a big ego. So it's not going to be, I'm the head coach and this is going to do it my way. Yeah, I think he's going to be open to these ideas. I think that's part of the beauty of this staff, that he's going to take these new ideas. Certainly somebody has to make the final decision as the head coach, as play caller. That's what he's going to do. But you don't hire these guys and bring them in for the energy and their ideas and not take it in.
Yeah, Jesse, I think the question you said is a great theme for this entire season moving forward about Brian Schottenheimer, because if you look at Brian Schottenheimer, he's in a very relatable position to a lot of people where, hey, he rose through the ranks, and, as he's taken so much time to been, a QB coach and assistant, he's probably asked the question, when I get my chance to be a head coach, what kind of boss do I want to be? And I think that's a lot of people when they climb the corporate ladder is, one day I'm going to be a boss, and I'm taking all these things I've seen from other bosses. How can I be the best boss possible? So to your point, I think he's going to have that mindset. And I wonder, though, to also your point, there's a balance there between, you want to be the good boss, but you also want to be the boss that gets the best out of everyone.
And I think that Mike McCarthy's gotten a bad rep here. The idea that he didn't take in other people's ideas. He brought Schottenheimer here. He made him the offensive coordinator. He listened to Schottenheimer.
Helped him with the interview.
Well, no, that's the rules of fandom, I think. Is when somebody is gone and somebody else is here now, you spin it in whatever way makes you feel better. Which is McCarthy was doing crap that if he would have listened to Shotty.
Right. He bit his lip. He didn't bite. Come on. I talked to Mike McCarthy guy. He that's why he brought Schottenheimer in. He listened to Schottenheimer more than anybody. Yeah. At the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do because it's your offense. At the end of the day, somebody has to make a final decision. But I didn't listen to Schottenheimer because during the process, during the ramp up to hiring Schottenheimer, there was this whole narrative. Well, Schottenheimer was really the reason why the Cowboys in 2023, the offense changed because he changed things. Remember? Yeah. Now all of a sudden, when he gets hired, well, he had to bite his tongue. They didn't listen to him. You can't have it both ways.
No doubt.
Either they listened to him in 2023 when offense changed after the slow start, and they went on for Dak to become a runner-up for Player of the Year. If that was Schottenheimer, then this was also part of Schottenheimer.
And I know some people in the building believe that. That, like, what if Schottenheimer was the play caller the entire season in 2024? What could have offense could they have been? I know that people believe that. To your point, It's kind of on the way out, maybe like, hey, kind of discrediting a little bit of what Mike McCarthy did. But there's people in the building that do believe that.
You tried to bring Mike back.
Right, they did try to bring him back.
You tried to bring him back.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't accept the short-term contract.
Yeah. And Schottenheimer being a play caller, potentially.
And I think Schottenheimer should feel like he can come. I think there's a couple of things working in his favor. One, I think it's intentional that your offensive coordinator is an offensive line coach. Yeah. That doesn't challenge your head coach.
Right, no.
You've got basically a position coach as a coordinator.
Great call.
This is my show. So that empowers you. And then the fact that Jerry Jones runs a food stamp organization of a football team, like you're going to get your 3 years. You absolutely, positively will not get fired. He got a 3-year contract, right? Is that what Shotty got?
Shotty?
3?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
You've got it. You've got all 4.
Tyler,
There's zero chance that Jerry Jones is going to fire you.
No.
Zero.
Zero?
Zero. He won't do it.
He won't do it again.
He will not pay 2 head coaches.
He won't do it unless they go 6-10 or 6-10.
Yeah, I guess
if they go 6-10 or whatever, 7-10, 7-10,
yeah,
he got to go. He got to move.
Maybe, and I guess they probably got him for cheap enough that he is fireable.
Yeah.
But no, Jerry Jones ain't paying out your salaries for years that you're not coaching. He won't do it.
If they don't make the playoffs in the first 2 years, he gone.
It'll be Jerry's fault, and we'll blame somebody else. And then once it's been 60 years without an NFC title game, and Steven is in year 23 of running things, we'll be cruising along.
John Steven.
He's
the boy king.
I think Paxton could run this thing.
Paxton's going to be the head of scouting. We've talked about this. He's found DeMarvion Overshown.
Okay.
John Steven, the boy king.
Okay.
It's John Steven.
Former quarterback, college
Highland
quarterback.
Park quarterback,
Park.
state champion.
All right.
Come on.
Is that a Steven kid?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I want a Charlotte kid in charge. I mean, it's fine. Whatever. It'll be fine either way.
I want a Charlotte kid. I want a Charlotte kid. I'm thinking like, who's Charlotte? Which one's Charlotte? Does she have all girls?
No,
she got
Paxton's her son.
Paxton's son.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But head of scouting, we talked.
yeah.
Head of
What's-
scouting.
Anderson.
That's right.
What's the new blueprint, and can the Cowboys follow it?
Get those likes up.
Get the likes up. It's next.
Save a Charlotte.
And boy, do I have a deal of a lifetime. 35% off polarized sunglasses with using the promo code DLLS. The time is coming. Spring is right around the corner. I know it doesn't feel that way this week. Last week, we were in the 80s. If you get you a pair of Shady Rays, man, over 300,000 5-stars reviews. What I love about Shady Rays is they have so many different styles. They have the aviators, they have the blue blockers, they have the big, what are the ones like the snowman ones?
Yeah,
like
those
the young kids wear. Everything.
The Gen Z ones.
The Gen Z ones. They have everything for you, for someone else, for your kids, as a gift. It doesn't matter. Head over to ShadyRays.com and get you a pair. If you break them, lose them, or just don't like them, Shady Rays say, send them back. Give them back to us. We'll send you a new pair. Pick a pair, we'll send them. Lose them, don't worry. We'll send you another pair. Break them, don't worry. We'll send you another pair. ShadyRays.com. DLS is the promo code. Get 35% off a pair of polarized sunglasses today.
So I could get to looking at my Shady Rays.
Rays.
That's the one.
Get me new pair. Shout out to our friends at Game Time. Use the code DLLS if it's your first time, and you can get $20 off, which I bet gets you into
Cover
the
the
Mavericks
tickets.
game for like -$8. I don't know.
Brooklyn Nets game is $18 right now.
Hell yeah, you're crushing it. You get $20
Who plays
off
for the Nets?
with the,
$2 back.
with the code DLLS.
$2 back.
Game Time's the app you need if you're talking about going to a sporting event, if you want to go to a concert, whatever. You want to go to literally monster trucks. You guys like monster trucks? Download the Game Time app whenever
about
they're
emo
here.
night?
Go watch Bigfoot. Is he still out there? I know Gravedigger's out there. So is Rampage. Yeah, I
Was the
think
one called The Undertaker too? No? I'm making
that
that
was
up?
a wrestler. But
out to
yeah,
Paul
Game
Bearer.
Time will get you squared away. Use the promo code DLLS, and that first purchase you'll get $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Promo code DLLS. What time is it?
Game time.
Oh,
All right.
really?
What?
You know, Jeff, I just found out something.
Okay, tell me what you found out. I sure would like to know what you found out.
A lot of people didn't like the halftime show. Well, they said they didn't like the halftime show. The Super Bowl
That's surprising.
had 126 million people watching it.
Yeah.
Halftime show had 133.5 million people watching it.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Somebody
I think
lying?
people
Not
want to
like
watch.
us.
I think people want to watch halftime shows though.
Oh.
Not
I
like
think
us.
people exclusively watch.
I
halftime
enjoyed the
shows.
halftime show.
I think watching the halftime show and just wondering at what point is this guy going to look into the camera and call that guy a pedo
And he literally did.
in front of 100 and something million people.
And he literally looked at me with the biggest shit-eating grin of all time.
Oh, he did. He used the word.
Sorry.
Just losing it.
He used the
I
word.
used it.
And Drake's ex Serena was out there
Oh
dancing.
my!
Crip Walker,
Dude,
man.
when
Both
she
exes. SZA too.
Scissor too.
Oh,
oh,
SZA
this
too?
is
SZA too. I don't think I can feel bad. I think Drake has enough money that his quality of life is good enough that I don't. He's fine.
is he doing a halftime show next year in California?
He'll be fine. I think he's going to do the what's the CFL Super Bowl, the Grey Cup. I think he'll do the
He's
Grey Cup.
definitely doing Grey Cup halftime.
Yeah. Right? He's
That
a
would be
Canadian guy.
insane.
Sponsored by Tim Hortons.
That would be insane.
Let's knock out the super chats. Let's knock out the super chats. JJ's here.
Oh,
shout out
out,
from the
JJ.
sovereign Navajo Nation to the best and most fun Cowboys coverage. Thanks for keeping my mind off the crazy in this world for 60 ticks. Matt Hooks. Nico took that Lakers NBA check to tank the franchise. The Mavericks will never make another dollar of mine. Actually, I'm rooting for the Mavs to lose.
Wow.
I think that's a thing.
I mean, yeah, it's a good time to tank anyway. If AD's hurt, let's just go play for lottery balls.
So
Yeah.
are you just a Luka fan or you a Mavericks fan, Matthew Hooks? Like that's the part I want to know. If you're a Mavs fan or are you a Luka fan?
Cowboys and Mavs don't share the same fan base. Our dear friend Claymore is here. Hence the contrasted response to
That's
bad
true.
management.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. That's good truth.
Shout
There's,
out Claymore.
there's a lot more
Claymore out of
people.
San Antonio.
There's a lot more people who, and it's unfortunate. Listen, let's not talk about other basketball teams. Let's just not.
I like Wemby and De'Aaron.
And Joe obviously didn't know that I used the S already. I snuck it through. Nobody knows.
Oh,
Snuck
did you
it through.
already?
No, you
Yeah,
said ship. You said ship.
No, yeah.
No, you
no,
are-
I didn't
You
you-
said shit.
No, I
No,
sure
no, no.
didn't.
Trust me. You
Yeah,
said,
I sure did.
You said ship.
He said it.
I sure did. I forgot. Oh, yeah. The Cowboys are just – there's too many people were born into it, you know?
Yeah.
Like the Mavs is very much a you live here. The Cowboys, so many people are born into – I promise you in our chat right now.
You were born into it.
There are a lot of people.
Were you not?
A lot of you people.
Yes.
You were born into it.
I was born into it.
That are not in DFW.
My daddy was a Cowboy fan.
We're being watched by a lot. I bet
Was his daddy a Cowboy fan?
Who?
Your daddy's daddy.
No.
Was NFL around?
I guess. Hey! Hey! I mean,
That's like when they had to show the graphic at the bottom about some sort of stat where they were like second NFL championship that this has happened. I'm like, damn. So whatever the first one was pre-Super Bowl. I'm sorry. It was over 60 years ago.
I'm sorry. He was there. I'm sorry.
What happened? We're okay. Yeah, I think the Maverick fan base is very different. I think that's a very local fan base, and the Cowboys is a very global fan base.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, like, you know, you're born into it. You've been around it. No matter where you are, you're probably more likely to. The local guys are probably more likely to keep their team, right? I don't know.
Matthew responded.
What fan is more likely to stay lifelong with a team? One that it's like a family thing. They live in Wisconsin, but their family, they live in Mexico, but their family's Cowboy fans, or somebody who just grew up here with the Mavericks.
I wonder if it's like the San Antonio Mavs fan that like, hey, maybe our family was from Dallas, we moved to San Antonio, and, you know, yeah, I'm a Mavs fan in San Antonio, but I kind of like the Spurs, right? And then this happens, like, you know what? I'm off. So
Yeah.
Here's the San Antonio right here. I can just be a fan of the Spurs. No big deal.
Yeah.
I think that's possible.
So the rules when somebody
I'm
wins the
with
Super
you.
Bowl is we announce that whoever just won the Super Bowl has the blueprint to win the Super Bowl. That's the rules. So the blueprint to win the Super Bowl was have the best quarterback on planet Earth on your team. That was the blueprint. 3 of the last 5 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the new blueprint is, that's the question. If there is a new blueprint, if there's something we have to take from the Eagles just won the Super Bowl, what is it? And can and will the Cowboys attempt to replicate it? Because I think there's a lot of ways you could look at the Eagles team and say this part of them is the blueprint.
can and will are two different things, though. Can they? Yes. Will they? That's the question.
I
Is
think
that a no?
I think you nailed the blueprint and pre thing, but I think one thing from like a just roster building part of this, like, okay, I think you got to have a defensive line that can stop these generational quarterbacks that have bad offensive lines. Because if you look at how some of these best teams are built, I think they're really built through the trenches, and I think they're built through the defensive line, and it makes me want to not draft Ashton GT at 12. And like that makes me sad because I think he'd be a fantastic fit in Dallas, and the storylines are amazing. I think he'd be a great player.
You're making yourself sad.
I'm making
with your
myself
own
sad,
thought.
which is a whole
Yeah.
mental thing.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at this, you look at the defensive line they had. When you don't have you blitz 0 times and generate that much pressure against Patrick Mahomes, who is mobile, by the way, and you make him frazzled. I think it's so telling. So if you're not going to have Patrick Mahomes, you got to have a defensive line that can stop him.
Listening to you in the pre-show and listening to you now, because the Cowboys, they drafted correctly for a long time.
Right.
They were
Correctly or well?
Let's say well.
They did
Let's say
well.
well.
Yeah,
That's
well.
fine. Let's say they've drafted really well for a long time. Now they've had their fumbles the last couple years, 2 years
at least.
But where it comes down to me is because the Cowboys had enough talent on teams that they should have gone farther than what they did. Where I stand at, and I think I'm going to continue to stand at this point, is they never have the advantage under the headset, and they still don't. I think that's where I sit at, because talented teams, which I do believe Philadelphia is a talented
Shout out to Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni is what you're saying.
No, but I'm saying Fangio.
But Fangio.
Like that defense gave
And that's Fangio's first Super Bowl title.
that defense gave
Has he ever-
Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid trouble.
Yeah.
Yes, he had talented players, but again, you mentioned it earlier. You talked about when we were in the pre-show. You said they spent a bunch of money on Huff.
I did. Yeah,
Oh, you said Scott. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You said that. A bunch of money on Huff. It didn't work out. They said, watch out.
Yeah, move him over there.
Move.
Let's go get somebody else.
We're going with someone else. So they didn't allow that to take them out of there. They didn't keep trying to force that down the team's throat and
Because
saying, "Here,
we're spending that money on this guy, so you got to play him."
He was
That's the
inactive.
Jerry Jones mentality.
he was inactive in the Super Bowl.
Right.
So all that money, they said, "You're right now don't have the ability to help us win. Stand over here." And I think until the Cowboys, and maybe this coaching staff will do it, until the Cowboys find a way to have the advantage under the headset, you can draft, you can develop, but if you ain't got it in the moments where it matters the most, you're gonna keep coming up short. And we saw that against Green Bay, we saw that against San Francisco, and every other. We saw that when they had the fat running back come in off the couch and with the Rams,
yep.
like all across the board.
Anderson?
Like if Anderson,
Yeah.
Mike Anderson.
Mike Anderson. Yeah.
For me, it's gonna be until you put the right coaches in place in this league today, you're going to continuously come up short.
Yeah, and
That's the blueprint for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think this staff.
Well, great. We're doomed for 4 years.
I agree with you. I don't.
Old man agrees with me.
I don't think the staff gives the Cowboys right now. Gives the Cowboys advantage. It's intriguing. It's exciting. Certainly, they got some, but you can't say that Schottenheimer is one of the top 15 offensive coordinators in the league. You can't even say
He
that.
might not be one of the top 30.
Right. You
Well,
can't
you
say
don't
that based
know.
on we don't know.
We don't know.
But we don't know that this offense of staff gives you an advantage. And defense, I like Matt Eberflus. He's a good defense coordinator. I don't know if he's top 10. I know he's a solid defense coordinator. He's done it before, but we don't know if he's top 10, top 15. He certainly ain't top 5. Just right off the bat. So that point works. They do not give you an advantage. But I will go back to the point, like I brought up Bryce Huff in the pre-show meeting. Certainly you talked about it. They've drafted well, but until the Cowboys find a way to get into the game in free agency and be willing to take risk in free agency, they have not done that since Brandon Carr spent big money in free agency. They don't have a chance. You have to supplement what you're doing in the draft by adding pieces in free agency. One dirty little secret about this Eagles team: 8 of their 22 starters were not drafted. They came to the team in free agency.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, they've drafted well. They got the defensive tackles and the quarterback, but they also supplement, whether it was trades or free agency. They added to what they did in the draft with help in free agency. Look at the Cowboys team last year. I think they only had 3 starters who were not homegrown talent.
Yeah, Kendricks is a 1 year.
Kendricks
is a 1 year deal.
Cooks and the safety.
Hooker.
That's it.
Yeah.
But
Everybody else were born and raised Cowboys.
Boy, that's
your
hard to win.
Brandon Carr statement
Yeah.
furthermore proves my point, because you went and spent all that money on a big-time free agent in the offseason, and then you took him away from what he actually did well.
Right.
I believe was he a man corner? They made him play zone. No, he was a zone corner.
They made
him play man.
Yeah.
Like when he
You guys
was
remember when
successful,
was it him that they let play Megatron by himself for an entire game, even
And
though at
he-
halftime he had 200-something yards?
and he was yelling to the sideline,
Like, little help.
"Help me!"
Help
He
me.
was yelling, "Help
me, help you. Help
And
me,
so, like,
help you.
even that right there goes back to the point of you couldn't even coach the big money free agent that you brought in.
Yes.
You brought him in to do something
To
that
be
he
Dion, I
wasn't.
paid you all this money. You got to be Dion. You got to be shut down corner like Dion.
That's not what we're doing here. I was a really good zone corner. Keep me in that scheme and you'll get your money's worth.
Yeah.
But they wanted to make him a man corner, and it was like, nah, buddy, that ain't it.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest part, I believe Nick Sirianni, I didn't hear it, but I saw somebody tweet it. I turn off games when they end. I'm never going to hear anything that happens in a post game. But somebody asked Nick Sirianni about what makes a great coach, and he was like having the best players.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest part of what got the Eagles there is they knew what they had to have to run through the NFC, and what they were going to have to beat either Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, whoever. And they knew they were going to have a better roster, because they weren't going to have a better quarterback. And I say that with all due respect. Jalen Hurts has played really well in big games, but in must-pass situations, the Eagles are a bad offense. They knew they were going to have to be better than them.
Yeah.
And to do that, you have to be willing to do things that other teams to this point haven't been willing to do, and the Eagles do it. Every single highly paid player on that team does not count for his highly paid money.
Facts.
They just cram them on the roster.
Right.
Yeah.
Cowboys have, I believe, 7 $10 million players on average. And when you look at their cap hits, they'll be over $10 million. The Eagles have 12 of them, and they don't count for that right now.
Yeah.
They're just we care later. And they're willing to risk later to try to win a Super Bowl. And they're willing to do it more than anybody. And now they got one. So no matter what happens, they were right.
They truly go all in.
Question is if you're the Cowboys, should you? That's what we talk about next. Also, I want you guys to sign up to be a diehard. I saw a thing on the on our Stars show. They tend to get confused, or maybe they see different things based on who's where on where the thing is on the screen, and they all try to point at the diehard, and they're all pointing different directions. Yeah, it's amazing.
They did what?
Luds is like, it's over here. Like, no.
Point of the diehard.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's over.
Well, you kind of got to go like that. Oh, this
Scan
way.
the QR
this way.
code if you want to sign up to be a diehard. Thank you if you're here and you're watching, hitting the like button. We appreciate that. If you're in the chat,
Oh, it's over there by Joe.
we appreciate that.
by
Yeah,
Joe.
you got it figured out. You're doing great. When you sign up to be a diehard, you get all sorts of things, all sorts of great things. Joe's rocking one of my favorite shirts from the merch store.
Skyline.
But you get to pick a free T-shirt from our merch store. You get 20% off on other merch. You get an ad-free experience on the website. You get access to the diehard level content from our writers of every team and video stuff. It's a wonderful deal. So you should sign up to be a diehard. That's all you need in your sports world is dieharddom. Dieharddom.
Hardom.
Dieharddom.
And you get the carrying card.
Oh, they get the carrying card.
They get them.
You get the carrying
They
card.
get the carrying card.
Ben doesn't love us.
We have not gotten a carrying
Shout
card.
out Ben.
Get your likes up, people.
I mean, guess technically we should sign up to be a diehard.
Good.
But when I log in, because I have a work email address, I have access to the
Yeah,
diehard
right.
stuff. I'm not going to pay
I
the
am
$78 or whatever for just the carrying
I
card.
am the diehard content.
You are the diehard
Yeah.
content.
Yeah, we are the
Yeah.
diehard content.
We should get a carrying card.
We should get a carrying card.
And then we have these awesome events. I don't know if some of you guys
yeah.
came out to Cosm.
Yeah, the Mavs watch party.
I was there.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Fantastic. It was I still have my
We beat Boston, right?
Oh, yeah, that was
Without
so
any
cool,
good
by the way.
players.
Yeah.
This
I
was
got
so
a friendship bracelet. I got my heel. Is it the heel or Holly? What is it called?
Heel
It's
Kyrie.
heel Kyrie. But what is this thing? Is like the Hala. Hala.
Oh, so you got the L and the A mixed up.
Well, I didn't. She did.
Yeah,
But
she
maybe
was.
she wanted to heel Kyrie. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
maybe she did.
one of,
I mean, he's probably hurting. He's kind of an older guy.
His back is going out. You know what I mean? He got a tricky back.
Yeah,
So I
kinda
got friendship bracelets. We got all this kind of crazy stuff, and fans were there. The scene was amazing. The food was spectacular.
Yep.
Come be a part of it.
So the way that the Eagles won the Super Bowl is they just added as many good players as they could. They don't care what's going to happen in 4 or 5 years in terms of what are they going to have to do with their salary cap crap. Also, part of that is extending your good players early so that you can keep pushing things around. Like you can't push all of Dak's money around because you let him get to the end of 2 contracts.
Yeah.
That's your fault.
We let everybody do that.
Yeah.
We let everybody
yeah.
get to the very, very end of a contract.
Yeah, it's silly. And so now the question is, that is what Philadelphia did. They got way out in front of their quarterback contract, and he signed a super long one. So Jalen Hurts is a $50 million quarterback that will never count for $50 million until 9 years into his deal. Never. Right. So in a league where quarterback salaries are going to go up and up and up and up and up, they go way out in front of it, and they're going to never, like they'll pay for it literally in, I guess it's like 5 years from now, 6 years from now. But are the Cowboys in a spot where they should take that sort of risk, where they should be willing to add and add and add? Like, are you in a we could win the Super Bowl window if we get aggressive?
Bro, they're shocked that they didn't get the Super Bowl this year. Yeah. Jerry's shocked.
That's fair.
Shocked.
Before we talk about that, though, let's establish, like, why wouldn't you go all in, right? And, like, why timing actually matters, because go look at what Kellen Moore is about to go walk into in New Orleans. They have
Kellen's not going to like that job. I mean, I know you want to be a head coach. It ain't going to be fun over there.
Yeah. No, and I'm not saying
that's an empty cupboard over there.
No, and I'm not saying don't go all in. I'm saying if you go in all in at the wrong times and then double down on that, kind of like New Orleans did, you're going to put yourself in purgatory for a very, very long time. The Cowboys are not there.
Speaking of carrying Jerry's water.
No, the Cowboys. I literally just said
carrying
Jerry. You're trying.
No.
Speaking of
Why bring that up? They haven't won in 30 years. Who cares if it's the wrong time?
No, it is the right time.
Something.
It is the right time.
But why do we care? Why don't even caveat the wrong time? Do not caveat. Don't even bring that up. The wrong time. They haven't won in 30 years. They're the richest franchise in sports. Who cares
I
if
was
they messed
setting
up
the context to make it more important that they go all in now.
Yeah, and
because
you just
guess
yell at
what?
somebody.
Dak Prescott's got on a 4-year deal where he's going to CeeDee Lamb's on a 4-year deal. Brian Schottenheimer's on a 4-year deal. You're about to pay Micah Parsons a crap ton of money. Long story short, you should go all in. Yeah, see, I didn't say the S word. Hi, KG. You go all in now because the timing is right. Okay,
right.
There's a difference between where the Cowboys are now and Cleveland was last year, right? Cleveland thought, hey, we can go all in. We're going to get all these guys. We're going to do all these things. Oh yeah, Deshaun Watson is your quarterback. Okay, it's not going to work out. And guess what? It didn't. And now you're trying to have to pay someone a lot of money just to take Deshaun Watson off. This is the timing is right. That's what I was not clear.
All I'm saying is let's not use these cautionary tales of the Saints and Cleveland. No cautionary tales here. We're throwing caution to the wind here.
I was saying the timing is right.
Okay, but no cautionary tales.
I was saying the timing was wrong for some people, but it's
We
right for
don't
them.
care
I was
about
setting up
other
the
people.
segment with
I don't
context
think
to
you
empower.
get to tell him how to talk.
I'm not telling them to talk. I'm talking to
I
the
mean,
fans.
unless it's hate speech.
I'm talking to
then
the
I think
fans.
maybe.
Okay, I'm talking to the Cowboys. We're not worried about cautionary tales. We're not worried about how it didn't work out for New Orleans or how it didn't work out for the Cleveland Browns. This is the Cowboys. It's been 30 years of frustration. Somebody needs to get mad. Somebody needs to get angry.
Did you hear
Somebody needs to do that. Other than Jeff ranting all the time, somebody needs to get mad.
Did you hear that bus go by? Oh yeah, you just threw me under it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I love you.
Sure.
I'm just saying, no need for cautionary tales.
I don't get mad.
Let's just call it what it is. Spend the money. Go all in. Do what you said you were going to do. Do what you promised. Do what you claimed. Do what you ran on.
I don't get mad.
Yeah, you do.
I've never been mad in my life.
Yeah, you
Do what you ran on.
It's healthy to get mad, by the way.
Let
Found
it
out.
out.
I was reading a book last
Let it
night.
out than in.
Found out it's healthy.
It's emotion.
Yeah, go ahead and express that. You don't want that to fester.
That's kind of the whole point of Inside Out, right? Feel your emotions.
I don't know what that means.
Did you not
but,
watch Inside Out?
No. Damn. But
Not
you're
even
welcome,
some-
Jerry.
You would love it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think there's probably not a better time to go for it than when your quarterback maybe exiting his prime, or maybe he's in his prime and he's absolutely going to be here for the next couple of years.
Well, he ain't going to slow down.
He what?
ain't?
No. He already slow. The beautiful thing when you don't run fast, you can't slow down when you get old, can you?
I was with you. I was like, yeah, he probably like he's not gonna get faster.
Slow down.
He's already- Oh man, will Dak have a rushing attempt next year?
He's gonna have a rushing attempt and look up at
He has
Clarence.
to.
In a world where a lot of people, when it's on 3rd or 4th and short, are using their quarterback as a battering ram, is ours willing to run if there's no one near him?
And the crazy thing to me is
Better
that
be.
Dak should have been a better. He's a big guy. He has big legs. His brothers were offensive linemen. I mean, he should have been used as a batting ram on 4th and 1 and 3rd and 1. And you use his body. You don't have to run fast, but he's a big, strong guy.
It's
And then
y'all
what
fault.
happened?
It's y'all fault. Y'all were the
It's definitely
ones.
his
No, I'm
fault.
talking about
No,
throughout
no,
his
no,
career.
no,
I'm
no,
not just talking about this year.
No, I'm not
His
talking about
fault.
this year.
His
I'm
foot
talking
fell
about.
off.
I'm talking about. There was a time when he used to run the ball a lot, and everyone started telling him,
No, Jerry.
if you want to be considered amongst the greats,
Yeah.
if you want to be paid like the greats, you need to learn how to throw and be a pocket quarterback.
The game
he
has
said,
changed.
so he said, okay.
That's fine. I'll trade
I'm
you
gonna
for
be-
Lamar Jackson
He's
right
like,
now.
I'm going to be a pocket quarterback. And all of a sudden, he forgot how to run.
Yeah.
He turned his brain to the opposite switch and said, I'll be a pocket quarterback. And then he said, well, this whole line isn't working for us anymore. And you don't have 9 seconds to stand behind the offensive line anymore. So, hey, now you got to start running. And then you
Don't put that
Kirk
on.
Cousins.
told that
Aaron- what do you
man,
mean
Kirk
don't put it?
Cousins. And you told that
Aaron
man, Aaron Rodgers.
I think you said Flacco.
You did say
Flacco
Flacco.
too.
Flacco all had more
And you
rushing yards than him.
paused every single
Did I-
time.
did
You
I
said
lie?
Flacco, and you
Did I
looked up
lie?
at him. Kirk
Did I
Cousins.
lie?
You didn't lie. You got
Aaron
the quarterback
Rodgers.
hurt.
No,
You
no,
hurt the
no.
quarterback.
The
'Cause he ran
quarterback.
because of you.
He should have been running all along.
You wanted to blow out a hammy sooner? We needed more Cooper Rush in our life?
No, if
Listen,
he run sooner, he would have got those muscles.
I'm gonna ask.
Oh.
in
We're
line
gonna
to what we
see
were
Dak
doing here.
today. Hopefully, I'm gonna say, man, can we get some yoga? Can we do some things? Some
Pilates.
Pilates.
Yeah, I'm going to 1 o'clock if he wants to meet me there.
yoga, Pilates. We got to be stretched out. You got to be able to run, man.
Oh, yeah, it's hard.
I mean, that's the game.
If
That's
you don't
the
run
game.
for a while, you can't.
No, right, you lose it.
I'm telling you.
Why you didn't run that for you?
I'm still going to one day. One day. There's a whole different style of training I got to do. 'Cause if I try to
Yes.
pick up a leg far enough to pretend I'm going to run, I feel like I'm pulling
You
stuff.
should be sprinting every day in practice, though. You should be running hard. I mean, if you're playing, if you're in the prime of your career, in your 20s, 30s, you should be sprinting every day.
Yeah.
It should not be an issue. I ran and I pulled a hamstring.
I like Colin's thing. The podcast is just white noise. Good grief. Don't listen.
If you go back earlier, there was more than white noise.
Oh, no. Also, don't listen.
She'll set us off.
How about that? How about that? What if we fist fight after the show in the streets?
On site.
What about that?
On site.
Or else.
I can't fight.
We can't. Listen.
I can't fight. And
Colin is actually a 6'7" former NFL player.
I mean, he could be it doesn't matter. He could be a toddler. He'll whip my ass. I can't fight.
Nothing is more funny than like when you get into an argument with somebody, they go, come down to my dojo and fight down. I'm not coming down there, bro. Like they want to.
You named a place where people practice combat. I'm not coming there.
People like one time they wanted me to come down to their MMA gym, like come down for them. I'm not coming down.
What are they like? Come down to my ice cream shop. You know, yeah.
Going down
I'm
there.
not going down
brewery.
to my dojo. I'm not coming down to your dojo to fight you.
Now is a great time for the Cowboys to go all in because you have your quarterback who's locked in for at least the next 2 years. If you really wanted to, you could get out of it after that. But you're locked in for at least 2 years with Dak as the quarterback. And if you're not going to win with Dak as the quarterback, whatever comes next, who gives a crap?
Yeah.
Whatever comes next is a quarterback search where you're dead in the water until you figure out if you can find a quarterback. So I think the Cowboys are in a scenario for the next 2 years. That's it. And if it turns out that Dak's entire body is broken, then none of this is going to matter anyway. And, you know, you don't care if you take whatever.
And that's
hits
why
later.
you should go get a Hall. No, let me stop. I'm not.
Go get Aaron Rodgers?
No.
He's on the market.
Get a Hall.
Oh, Hall for Micah.
Oh,
No, you
no.
said that, not me. I'm just saying.
No, you said Hall for Micah. That's the only person.
I didn't say that.
Dak has no trade clause, so
say
you're talking
that.
about Micah.
I think you try to win first. I think you try to win first.
Let me ask you this question, because we're talking. Let's just. I don't want to go off the course.
Go.
Philly is the best team in the league now, right?
Yes.
Which would ultimately put them the best team in our division.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And conference, yeah.
And healthy Detroit can challenge them too.
Where are we putting Washington right now? Where are we putting Washington
Right
Better
now?
than the Cowboys.
Put Washington better than the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rookie deal.
With a ton
with
of
their
cap
quarterback.
A lot of
Ton of cap
flexibility.
room.
The motivation to go in.
Probably going to get Myles Garrett.
Yeah, that feels right.
So that makes right now the
Them or
Cowboys
San Francisco.
third, right?
Better than the Giants.
Way better than the Giants.
Better than the
better.
Giants. We
Way
got
better
them.
than the Giants.
Thanks,
Is
Got
anyone
the
more
Giants.
down bad aside from Nico Harrison than Joe Shane?
No.
Is that the Giants GM?
Yep.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, he needs to do a better job.
Yeah.
So does ours, though.
The Cowboys are behind the Rams.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
In
Behind the
division.
Rams?
Rams and Packers.
Yeah, Rams, Packers,
You're
Vikings,
behind
yes.
the Packers.
I think they're
So Lions, Vikings, Packers, Rams.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Philly.
in Washington.
Washington.
I think they're better than everybody in the South.
Okay. So
Yeah. Bug, Tampa?
Maybe.
Yeah, but they everybody got hurt. They beat Tampa.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, they might be better than the whole South.
Yeah.
Is winning really in the
In their
cards?
San Francisco.
If you're willing to do what the most aggressive people do, yeah.
Winning. What's
Because you
winning?
trade one of your
What's
fifth-round
winning?
picks for a starter somewhere.
What's winning?
Winning is getting to the Super Bowl.
Okay, winning the Super Bowl, getting to the Super Bowl.
You got to get there.
I don't think they're that far away from, with a healthy roster, from making a run to an NFC title game. Still, I don't think they're that far away. If they did,
If they were
decent
healthier
moves.
this year, they had a chance
Make the
of
playoff.
being a playoff team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but we've seen that. We've seen that.
Yeah.
Right. The
it's
same,
all contingent on them actually going all in.
Same
But we got
vortex.
Shotty now. That's gonna get us. We got
Same
Shotty
vortex.
now.
I don't think they're that far away.
far away from what?
From going on a run. I think that the roster is still pretty good. I think there's some good talent on this team. I think if you did the proper things in the offseason, I think there's a chance you could add enough talent
What
to
are the
go on a run.
proper? Because
Yeah.
we're still hoping and wishing that they do the things that they haven't done.
No.
in a long,
Well, you have to show
long
up, and
time.
sometimes you would have to show up and beat a team that has more talent than you. Because yes, right now the Eagles have a better defensive line, offensive line, running back, wide receivers, secondary, linebackers, literally everything but quarterback.
Yeah.
and
Right.
some people will now say quarterback, and that's fine. I'm not interested in
That's
fighting.
fair.
Yeah.
They're better at everything. So yeah, you'd have to add 10 players that are really good.
We're also talking about like whether they should go all in or not. That's what I'm saying. Is like I think that they are in a place where you could justify going all in.
Now, I'm with you, and I think
Yeah.
that is true, but
But history has shown,
yeah.
Sorry.
And I don't think Washington's head and shoulders above them. They have a quarterback, but the rest of the rosters, yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not. They got to be this year's kind of Houston
What about when they get Osa
when they get Osa and Myles Garrett
and Myles Garrett?
and everybody else. It'll be a lot of fun. I used to do the DDP yoga, but yeah, now I'm a Pilates man. It's going to be great. Thank you everybody for hanging out with us. We're going to keep talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to find optimism one day. One day. We almost did yesterday. We never got close today. Tomorrow is a big day for optimism. I can feel it.
Okay.
Get ready.
Whiteboard one day optimism.
We'll see you tomorrow. Did I miss a super chat? Did I miss a super chat?
I think somebody added to it.
Oh, there's a couple.
Oh, crap. Claymore, grew up in DFW, former San Antonio, military duty. It wasn't cool to be a Mavs fan. Pre-Dirk era, Reunion Arena. Jaime, won't see them win a championship. Saw 3 thanks to Jimmy. Used to see you guys. You're having a 4-year boycott. Yeah, you boycott if you want. Just watch our show. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through. Be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminated contingencies.
We all silly like the mayor.